What's up, YouTube? The Comic Coalition here for another video for you guys today. Now, if you don't know, I'm a 90s baby, born 1991, and the number one thing that I cherish in my collection, or things that I cherish in my collection, are things that have to do with my childhood. The whole reason why I collect is nostalgia. And here I am, surrounded by nostalgia. 90s Nickelodeon was the best part of the 90s for me. I mean, I love my Cartoon Network, my Disney Channel, my Fox Kids, my WB Kids, but 90s Nickelodeon was the epitome of the 90s. Now, as you guys know, this is a toy channel, so of course I collect toys and Funko Pops, but I also collect other little pieces of my childhood. And in my childhood, we didn't have Blu-rays, we didn't have DVDs, we had VHS tapes. And if you were a 90s baby, there was a certain VHS tape, or a certain color of VHS tape, and when you saw it, you automatically got excited. So, I don't know about you guys, but as a kid, if I ever came across an orange VHS tape, I automatically knew Nickelodeon. All VHS tapes were black, except for 90s Nickelodeon VHS tapes. So I have a small little 90s VHS collection, and this will just be part one. There will be more parts to come soon, I assure you. But for part one, I'm going to go over a few of my 90s Nickelodeon VHS tapes. Now first we have Rugrats Discover America. Now this is once Phil came along. There's 4 episodes on here. We have Discover America. Welcome to Reptar Tours of America, where the Rugrats explore the country in search of a souvenir for Dill. Tour guide Lil points out places of interest like the Graham Canyon, a pile of Rockies, and the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, it's kind of hard to read because it's in baby language. So I'm sorry that I stuttered there because I was seeing things like that doesn't make sense. But yeah, it's in baby language. But nevertheless, there's 4 action-packed episodes of the Rugrats right here for you on this VHS tape. Now, when I see Rugrats and I see a cover like this, it doesn't bring me back to the best days of 90s Nickelodeon. But something like this definitely does. All Real Monsters. Now, one thing about this VHS tape that I love so much is that the fact that it's well preserved. The case looks almost brand new. Imagine walking in your Blockbusters and seeing that right there. It catches the eye. A 90s kid is drawn to colors like this. Once again, it comes with 4 action-packed episodes and 1 extra episode. Meet the monsters. The truth is out. There are monsters lurking in dark places, itching to scare you. Within an inch of your life, meet Ickis, Crumb, and Oblina, young monsters in training at an academy set in the bowels of the city dump. They're mastering the monsterly art of making trouble, but they also have a monstrously knack for getting into it. All Real Monsters. Now, if you're a 90s kid, you remember All Real Monsters. It was one of the earlier 90s Nickelodeon shows. And it was just... it was never too scary, but it was kind of like... I don't know, it's kind of weird and creepy-ish. It had like a dark vibe to it sometimes. Just like this other 90s Nickelodeon show that us kids had no business watching this when we were kids. I promise you, as an adult, if you're not like me and you don't constantly go on nostalgia trips to go back to your childhood and you haven't revisited Ren and Stimpy since being an adult, I encourage you to go do it. You will be blown away by some of the things they do and say in this cartoon. I don't know how they made it past the censors, but it was the 90s. There was things going on, and Ren and Stimpy was right there under all the parents' noses. We were watching. There was a lot of stuff. A lot of adult-themed stuff going on in this cartoon. But nevertheless, it was one of the original Nickelodeon cartoons. When Nickelodeon debuted, this was one of the original debut cartoons and one of the most successful and also one of the most short-running. And there is a push right now on social media to bring this back. So you guys need to join that. And also, if I'm not mistaken, There's supposed to be a Ren and Stimpy short coming soon. It's going to be a short, little animated, I think it just lasts a few minutes, a little animated clip, and it's going to premiere before the SpongeBob Part 3 movie. How I know that, don't ask, I can't tell you. Here we have Jimmy the Boy Neutron. Is this the 90s show? I kind of feel like this came out after the year 2000. But nevertheless, it's Nickelodeon. I'm going to be bluntly honest with you. I never liked Jimmy Neutron. But it's Nickelodeon. It's in a clamshell. And you see that? That's not no 90s Nickelodeon right there. A black VHS tape. Alright. Now you 90s babies, do you remember this movie? I know I do. For some reason I had an extreme crush on this girl when I was a fucking child. I'm not sure why, but Harriet the Spy. One of my favorite movies as a kid. It was Nickelodeon's, I think, first feature film, if I'm not mistaken. And they did so much promoting of it on the Nickelodeon channel. If you can go back and look, I believe YouTube will have some commercials and TV spots from back then. But Nickelodeon did one hell of a job at promoting this movie. And they did a good job, and it was a good movie. Rosie O'Donnell was in it. Before Rosie O'Donnell is the Rosie O'Donnell that you would think of today. That was back when I think Rosie O'Donnell was hosting like every Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards for like the first I don't know, it was like year after year after year. It was always Rosie O'Donnell, and I remember that for some reason. Next up, we have the Rugrats movie. This is the movie that introduced Lil. Don't get me wrong, I always liked the Rugrats, but I believe the best Rugrats is before Lil. And true 90s babies and true Rugrats fans will usually feel the same way. But if you feel different...
You mean Dill?
No, not Dill.
Oh.
Oh, wait, yeah. Dill. I'm sorry. You're right. Dill. Sorry, guys. Y'all know what I'm talking about. This introduced Baby Dill. And, yeah, the best episodes of Rugrats came before Dill, in my opinion. That's just my honest opinion. You may feel differently, but I know a lot of people that feel the same. But I remember seeing this in movie theaters. I remember the sheer excitement of going to see this, and the feeling of because I've always been interested in movies, and not just an average person who likes to watch movies. I like to, slice and dice them and analyze them and stuff. And even as a kid, it kind of blew my mind that this little cartoon that I'm watching on Nickelodeon is now in the movie theater on the big screen. And this was the first time that I witnessed something like that, so it was a big deal for me. And it's the Rugrats, and I was a 90s kid. What can I say? It was a great movie. Next up, Snow Day. Yes, it is orange. And I'm going to let you guys know now, there's a few things in this movie that slipped up as well. I'm pretty sure. Do you remember that scene I'm talking about? When I told you that they were showing that girl's nips?
No.
Well, they show some nips in this movie, and that's not good for kids. But Snow Day brings back memories as well. And if you're a toy collector, you should watch this movie, because this guy has a pretty cool action figure collection that his little sister always gets a hold of, and some of you might...
You see her nips.
No, it's not his sister. It's his girlfriend that shows the nips, but yeah. Also, another All Real Monsters. Monsters Night Out. It includes 4 episodes as well. It even has the Halloween episode, even though every episode of All Real Monsters is kind of like Halloween. It's Halloween, and the streets are crawling with kids in costumes. No wonder Ickis Criminal Gleaner don't get so much as a sideways glance, but there's something strange about Ickis. He's just not himself tonight. Dun dun dun. And it's a double episode. You know what? I think we need to watch this when we're done with this video, because I don't remember that episode. But yeah, another All Real Monsters VHS tape. And here we have, now this has seen better days, guys. But that's part of the nuance. That's part of the charm of it all. Seeing that 99-cent purple Goodwill sticker on it. Seeing that tape that some grandma taped on, 1995, 20-year-old tape. The smell of old dust. And the orange VHS tape. This one is called Angelica the Divine. And Angelica is a little devil, just like it shows right here. Now, all of these episodes are Angelica-centric episodes, which are some of the best episodes of Rugrats. One of my favorite episodes, I believe, is when Angelica goes to summer camp. Now, if you've never seen that episode of Rugrats, even if you're not a 90s baby, go watch that. It is a great cartoon. But this is all for part 1 of my 90s Nickelodeon and early 2000s Nickelodeon VHS tape collection. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys subscribe. I'm going to have a new series coming soon called 90s Throwback Thursdays, where every Thursday I'll be posting a video that's just a nostalgic trip back to the 90s. We'll have things from 90s Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, old 90s kid movies, 90s candy, food, all that type of stuff we will be talking about and covering in this new series, so you guys stay tuned for that. Every Saturday I am posting 90s cartoon commercial compilations as well, so go ahead, roll you up a fat one and take a blast to the past with that as well. And of course I have all my toy hunting videos and all those cool things coming for you soon. You 90s babies be cool, and everyone else, you have a good day, YouTube. Check it out.